We're going to make this very quick. I just got home from Bible study. As you can imagine, South African Twitter, or X, is melting down. The white liberals are out in force following the, now I would argue, iconic White House meeting between Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, and President Donald Trump, of course, the president of the United States of America. Trump showed a video to Cyril Ramaphosa showing the calls for violence from EFF leader Julius Malema, and Trump showed the evidence of white genocide within South Africa. And as you can imagine, the liberals literally now in full force saying, this is a minority party, this party has no power. They hold about 12% of the South African population under their sway. If you include the Umkhonto Sizwe party, or whatever the hell they're called, which is another offshoot of the ANC. Together, these two parties hold roughly 20% of the South African population, and both of these parties are very, very extreme and very, very much anti-white people. People aren't wrong. This is a minority party in South Africa. The call is that there is just absolutely no genocide, and this is just completely false and fake. So, let's do this. And I have to give a massive shout out to Cesius, who is one of my viewers. I'm a little bit tired, as you can imagine, but he actually made this point so succinctly and so preciously that I thought I should share it with all of you. So if we look at the definition of genocide, it is the deliberate killing of a large number of people from a particular nation or ethnic group with the aim of destroying that nation or group. Now, you'll note, right, that nowhere there does it state that the killings have to be mass killings. It doesn't state that the killings have to be millions or even tens of thousands or anything like that. It literally just says that the killings have to be deliberate. In other words, the reason for the murders is the skin color of the person. The reason for the murders is nothing other than the skin color of the person. And the large number is also not suggested that it has to happen in a short period of time. It literally just has to be a large number. Now, if we go and we actually look at the evidence of this, you'll find that there is a wonderful article that was written up by AfriForum, who is one of the forums that brought this stuff to light. And they actually provide all of the evidence, all of the data, everything that you need to know. I will have a link to this article in the description down below. But one of the things here, for example, when you look at how these attacks, right, unique levels of brutality, because what people will oftentimes tell you is, oh, but it's just thieving, right? They're just stealing, and it's robberies gone wrong. The issue with that is you have farmers in South Africa, and these images I genuinely cannot show you on YouTube because YouTube will remove the video for graphic violence. But you have farm murders where couples are murdered, and on the walls, in their own blood, is written, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," the song that Trump played Ramaphosa in the White House. You have more extreme examples of such killings. For example, on the 1st of December 2010, the Botritter family was killed on their farm in the Free State province. Ati Botritter was stabbed 151 times, while his wife, Wilna, and the daughter, Wilmin, witnessed the killing. In other words, they're tying these people up and having them watch as they kill the father. Thereafter, little Wilmin was executed in front of her mother and thrown in a box. During the cleanup of the crime scene, the body was found in blood that half filled the box. After having witnessed the brutal murder of her husband and daughter, Wilma was then also executed. A note in Sotho, which is one of their languages, on a piece of cardboard saying, "We have killed them, we are coming back," was found on the gate of the farm. On the 22nd of October, David and Raleigh de Villiers, both 87, were murdered on their farm in the Eastern Cape province. The attackers wrote 666 on the walls in the victim's blood. Their son, this is a common sort of thing, calling us the devil, right? We're the white devils. Their son's Davi, 53, was also on the scene. His eyes were gouged out, and a machete, a sharp-edged blade, was left in his throat. He survived. This is the level of brutality. We can go on, right? Now you have songs from a minority group singing "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer," shoot to kill, right? These songs are ringing out across the country. You have murders that are, and look, there's between 92 and 120 farm attacks every single year in South Africa, murders in South Africa, right? Every single year. Now, you could make, right, the argument that some of these are robberies gone wrong. Sure, but some of them aren't. Some of them are so incredibly brutal. In fact, in a lot of farm murders, nothing is even taken, right? Nothing is taken. Everything is left as is. They move in, they slaughter, and then they move immediately out. So, the argument that it's just a bunch of robberies gone wrong, that's a significant problem. But even if you wanted to argue that this is just a small minority problem and it doesn't matter, here's the biggest issue. The ruling party of South Africa denies that it's even happening, right? They deny that the EFF is singing songs, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. They're denying that there is any sort of prejudice whatsoever in any sort of case anywhere in South Africa. This is the ruling party, the literal government of South Africa, denying that there's anything going on, denying that there's any need for any special circumstances, for any special sort of deals being made or any special protections being placed on farmers, just pretending like it doesn't matter and pretending like, oh, violence is all across South Africa. The level of brutality of these farm murders are not what you see across South Africa. Yes, there's murder everywhere. South Africa is a very violent country. But to make the argument that this is the same as everyone else, you don't read in the newspaper of people being murdered in these particular ways. And then if you actually go into the full definition of what genocide constitutes, it's the genocide is defined as the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. This is often accomplished through acts like killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm, or imposing conditions of life designed to bring about the group's destruction, expropriation without compensation, BEE laws, over 140 race-based laws in South Africa alone. And then you have all of these murders. You have people being allowed to sing songs, kill the Boer, kill the farmer. The national government, by the way, has never condemned the song. They don't stand up against the song. Yes, they may make the argument that they themselves don't sing the song, but you'll note that the people who are singing the song were ex-members of the ANC. The views are held because there are people in the ANC that are very friendly towards the EFF and would actually like to form an alliance with the EFF. Fundamentally, please miss me with this nonsense of there is no genocide. Genocide does not require numbers. It doesn't require that thousands upon thousands of people are killed. Right now, the number of farmers that have been murdered up until now is significant. It reaches thousands. To make matters even worse, when once upon a time there was an actual unit, it was called the commando units, and these were civilian military units, so civilians belonging to the commandos, and these groups would actually patrol farm areas and farm communities. They had a whole intelligence network that would tell them when certain communities may be at higher risk of farm murders. And so these units would go out in full military garb with full automatic rifles to protect these farming areas. In 2003 and between 2003 and 2008, the then president of the African National Congress, President Thabo Mbeki, announced the disbanding of the commando units and promised that these commando units would be replaced by police reservist units, because the argument was that commando units are military civilian, and military civilian doesn't really mix, whereas police and civilian is absolutely perfect. Guess what happened with that? Nothing. It never actually came to fruition. They effectively removed the tools of the people that were trying to fight farm murders, and they never actually gave a new tool. They never actually invented a new tool. So please, when you're trying to tell me that there is no genocide happening in South Africa, is there a mass killing of white people every single year? No. But is there a systemic and consistent slaughtering of white people every single year on farms across the country? Absolutely. The most conservative numbers puts it at 98.8 out of 100,000 people are murdered every single year in South Africa who are white farmers. The more sort of what most people argue maybe correct number is 120 out of 100,000. If you know what the numbers are, that puts being a white farmer in South Africa as one of the most dangerous jobs you can do in the world. Right? That's how dangerous it is. So when you think to yourself, oh, this is just Trump being full of crap, he isn't. Trump is well informed on this issue, and it might be time that people start looking inward and asking themselves what it is that makes you so uncomfortable when you hear people be uncomfortable with songs like Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer. Anyways, let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about all of this. Hit the like if you liked, the dislike if you didn't, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Peace.